And Madison, we are getting some conflicting reports tonight on exactly how long these lines were. The Port of Seattle said their recorded length was 90 minutes. TSA says its recorded length was 60 minutes. Travelers say they, in some cases, waited more than 2 hours. Many saying they gave themselves the 2-hour recommended allotted time and still ended up missing their flights.
Okay, same thing except for twos.
Passing time.
Oh, I guess I need to pick a card, don't I?
Ken and Jamie Collins are playing the hand they've been dealt.
We're here for the night.
The couple, fresh off a cruise, spending the night at SeaTac Airport after missing their flight home.
We came to the security line. That's when they directed us out into the parking garage.
This is a snapshot of the line Ken and Jamie stood in starting around 9:15 a.m.
At 9:20, we were still in that line. At 9:40, we were in that line. We were there all the way up until 10:40. I remember checking my watch and our flight was already gone and we're in the line.
The Port of Seattle said the longest wait time it recorded was 90 minutes. TSA claims wait times were not more than 60 minutes. However, several travelers say they waited longer.
Oh, what a day.
Matt McElhaney is one of those travelers.
Disneyland all over again.
But you missed the ride.
The ride was just starting. It's not a ride I would do again.
Matt was in Everett visiting family. He took this video from the parking garage.
Line for TSA.
Time stamped at 10:55.
Not flying for a while.
He later took this photo, still in line, at 12:31.
I feel embarrassed for the city of Seattle, Port of Seattle, that this is the example that they set for incoming and outgoing travelers out of our wonderful city.
Travelers like the Collins,
That didn't do me any good.
who had to ask for a chair while they waited.
I mean, I was hurting. I was in a lot of pain standing there for that long time.
The Port of Seattle said what happened is, quote, very unusual. It was a high volume day of passengers, which was one of the largest since the pandemic. In addition, we saw a large volume of cruise buses dropping off passengers. Several factors could be involved in the situation.
Yeah, we're staying here. We're not going to go through that again.
The Collins now just hoping they played their cards right. And TSA said there were no staffing shortages today. In fact, some people were working mandatory overtime. The port says it plans to talk with TSA to determine if there are steps that they need to address moving forward. But keep in mind, when speaking with TSA earlier today, they said tomorrow they are expecting to see a similar number of travelers through the airport, so plan accordingly. Live at SeaTac, Callie Greenberg, King 5 News.
At SeaTac on Sunday,
it was like the perfect storm for everything to go bad.
Those still stuck at the airport,
Horror story after horror story.
have quite the tale to tell.
I've been traveling since Austrian time, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Ariana Kalina started her trip days ago. Vienna to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Seattle, and now she waits for Seattle to Maui.
So now my luggage, both pieces are locked. I have medication in there that I have not taken yet. So like, if someone has a really major problem, what, do they die? You can't get your medicine.
Ariana knows she's not the only one going through this.
I'm in the hotel, I have nothing. I wash my underwear, wash my socks, that's what I have to wear.
Others had to come back for luggage.
They did ground quite a few flights from Kona to Seattle yesterday, and so I think the flights were really overloaded, so some of the luggage didn't make it on.
Dozens of flights in and out of SeaTac have been canceled.
I've been traveling since 1976. I've never had anything like this ever happen to me.
At this point, Ariana is a bit jaded about it all and isn't sure when she'll be traveling again.
But at this point, I'm gonna stay home, keep my ass at home. I ain't going anywhere.
Cornelius Hawker, King 5 News.
SeaTac Airport right now, where AAA expects a busy day of air travel today. This after what was projected to be the busiest travel day across the nation. TSA projects 3 million people flowed through the airport yesterday.
Let's get back to Angelique Hockaday live at SeaTac this morning, our new SeaTac Bureau Chief. Angelique, it seems like the number of travelers really increases every year. How'd the weekend go?
Yeah, Jake. Well, listen, if it does seem like we keep saying the phrase record breaking, it's because it's sort of true. According to TSA, 7 of the busiest days on record, that means ever, in TSA history were this year in 2023. So the weekend was busy, as was those other 7 days this past year. Right now here at SeaTac, wait times are actually a little bit more than they were even last Wednesday when I was back out here. The busiest day last Wednesday, 175,000 people. Today, 164,000 people. But these early morning, the departure drive on my way in was definitely more backed up than last week. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Here are the wait times. Checkpoint 3, they're about 20 to 25 minutes. Over at checkpoint 5, we're looking at 30 to 35 minutes. So despite all these record-breaking numbers, TSA is really hoping to keep these wait times under 30 for regular, for general check-in, under 10 for TSA check-in, for TSA pre. But another interesting thing to keep in mind, TSA pre, those numbers are going up as well. 17 million people now have TSA pre-check, which is 4 million more than last year. So again, 164,000 people are coming into SeaTac today. These wait times are just one reason to follow those guidelines, download all the apps, be smart out on the drives, and follow those 2-hour guidelines. Really get to the airport 2 hours so you're not running through, you're not stressed. You have time to wait in these lines that are just kind of getting longer and just starting to wrap around that I can see behind me. We'll check back in with you in the next 30 minutes. But for now, here at SeaTac, Angelique Hockaday, I'll send it back to you.
Jana screening, all gate, all flight, we're coming.
I came from New York. I came from work to Seattle, and this is where we caught our cruise to go to Alaska.
With the bucket list trip completed, Tracy Goggins and her family are working their way home.
No, they're way faster in JFK. 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, not 56 minutes.
56 minutes. That's what passengers trying to depart SeaTac were told to expect while waiting to get through security lines. A TSA backup that this weekend tested everyone's patience.
Chaotic, very unorganized. They need to get it together, and pretty fast.
Line for TSA.
Check out this video posted to social media that shows a single line twisting and turning in the parking lot.
Not flying for a while.
The Port of Seattle tells King 5 wait times topped out at 90 minutes. TSA says it was an hour, though passengers tell us they waited much longer than both. Delays that carried over to Monday morning.
When I came over to come to our gates, as you can see, now we're waiting. Now it's a long wait.
The TSA and Port of Seattle pointing to arriving cruise ships as part of the reason for the spike in passengers. TSA reporting that Sunday morning, some 28,000 passengers, half of the daily total, passed through security between 6 a.m. and noon. Backups that once again hit the airport Monday morning, which brings us back to the Goggins family. Proud New Yorkers who are ready to get back home.
In New York, it's a little smoother. This is the first time that I see something like this. First time.
Sebastian Robertson, King 5 News.
Taking a live look now at SeaTac Airport, where new travel restrictions have been in place for the last 7 or 8 hours or so. The Omicron variant has now been found in 13 states, including here in Washington. And that new round of travel restrictions is meant to help to slow the spread of this new variant.
Our Kayla Lafferty is there live at the airport this morning to try and break this down. Kayla, do these new restrictions impact people flying into Seattle, say, this morning?
Yeah, it does. I mean, there aren't any international arrivals till a little bit later in the morning here at SeaTac. But for those people today flying into SeaTac or any airports in the U.S. from anywhere international, they will now need a negative COVID-19 test within 24 hours of their flight. And this applies to everyone, so regardless of nationality or vaccination status. Also accepted is documentation of recovering from COVID-19 in the last 90 days. The previous restriction required people to have a negative test within 72 hours. But there are some questions about how strict that 24-hour time frame is. But the rule is a little bit flexible here. So the test must be taken the day before your flight, but the hours aren't as stringent. So for example, if your flight into the U.S. is at noon today, your test could have been taken anytime yesterday, as long as you have those results of a negative test to show when you reach customs. Also, part of the new restrictions, Travel by non-U.S. citizens coming from 8 African countries is banned as well. But the Biden administration does say that as we're in the busy holiday travel season, they do not plan any new restrictions for domestic flights. So if you're flying from one point to another within the United States, there shouldn't be any new restrictions as of yet. Live in SeaTac, Kayla Lafferty, King 5 News.
All right, Kayla, thank you.
Mind you, these numbers are not what they were in 2019 and other years before the pandemic, but they know more people are coming. SeaTac is getting busier. There are more flights, more people, more opportunities for the virus to spread. Stopping the spread is on everybody's mind here, especially as the holidays draw closer. At its lowest point as the pandemic took hold, only 2,500 passengers departed through SeaTac. The peak numbers these days around 20,000. That's a big improvement. Around Thanksgiving, they're talking about 29,000 or higher. There are 8,000 stickers urging people to maintain their social distance. Free masks if you need one. Behind the scenes at Cafe d'Arte, I get to go through what employees go through, from temperature checks
96.8. And how are you feeling today?
to hand washing, to having my hands checked by ultraviolet light to see what I missed. David Fukuhara runs this restaurant group.
There's a large program to keep travelers and employees safe, and we're right there in the middle. We're the ones that travelers interact with.
One place not built for social distancing, the trains. The airport putting up screens, encouraging people to wait for the next one if social distancing dissolves. Lance Little is SeaTac's managing director. The pressure is on as the next wave of COVID cranks up nationwide. But where is the airport's concern level when it comes to possible spread of this disease, because you're expecting more folks through?
Right, so what we're doing, we're trying to ensure that we create this environment that's as safe and healthy as possible for the people who choose to travel.
And everyone in this hard-hit industry knows the pandemic could take another bite out of aviation. James Rigg just arrived from LA.
This was my second flight.
Where's your confidence level now about staying safe while flying, meaning on the plane, going through the airport, etc.?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 7?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 9.5.
Daryl Driscoll also takes extra precautions. She, too, is just making her second flight. If it was a year ago, she would have made a dozen.
It feels very safe. I don't spend any extra time in the airport.
The airport also plans to roll out other things such as rapid COVID testing. Also, just last week, they opened up a concession where a company is going to be able to test you for COVID. If you can prove you're negative and you go to a place like Hawaii, you won't have to endure a 14-day quarantine when you arrive. At SeaTac Airport, Glenn Farley, King 5 News.
The airport can be a busy place, especially on the Friday before a summer holiday.
Very busy. It's just a lot of traffic in the airport, outside the airport too.
While some passengers prepare for TSA lines that hit almost an hour wait Friday morning, other passengers have been trying to fly out since Tuesday.
Both the times I was at the gate and came outside when got the message about the flight cancellation.
Now his bags are already back in his home state of New Jersey, but he's still stuck in Seattle until his new United flight leaves Saturday morning.
So I'm without any luggage. I just have my handbags with me, and that's about it.
SeaTac Airport is so busy today that it's expected to break a record. The most passengers ever was on one day in August of 2019 when there were 72,000 outbound passengers and 194,000 total. But today is expected to surpass that with an estimated 74,000 people flying out and 200,000 passengers total. These numbers are a challenge for the airport, which says it has a smaller amount of space to work with than other big city airports and can't expand outward.
So even though we're growing larger with the number of passengers here, we just don't have the space right now to add anything more.
Airport spokesperson Perry Cooper says they have boosted staff for the summer and have also secured more TSA workers, but they recommend using TSA PreCheck, Clear, and their Spot Saver system to get through security faster.
Jump in on our SEA Spot Saver. That's done really well. We actually passed 1 million users here just earlier this week.
With the busy weekend and summer ahead, the airport and passengers urge others to prepare.
If it says 1 hour or 2 hours before, try to make it 3 hours before because it's going to be really busy.
Cooper recommends arriving 2 hours before a domestic flight, and he says the key is to be inside the airport 2 hours before, so he says to take that into consideration with parking and drop-off. At SeaTac Airport, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Madison, exactly. So we're already seeing some major traffic of people just trying to get to the airport. We're seeing some major backups, people trying to get to departures as well as arrivals tonight. So the busiest day is actually supposed to be on Wednesday with 155,000 people expected to go through the airport. And as those busy days are ahead, we're again, as you can see, already seeing a lot of people coming in and out of the airport and coming home for the holidays.
It has been way too long.
Allison Farley is away at college in Dallas and reunited with her family.
Started crying when I saw my mom. I think there's just a lot of emotions when you're not able to see your family all the time.
4.5 million Americans plan to fly for the holiday, and SeaTac is expecting 13% more people traveling through than last year.
Overall, we're at about 95% of what we saw in 2019 pandemic travel. So we're getting almost back to where we were.
Airport officials reminding people to use its SEA Spot Saver program, which helps reduce long lines.
And that's a virtual queue line that you get in the TSA general screening lines. You can sign up to 72 hours in advance, and that gets you a 15-minute slot in reservation for the general screening line.
SeaTac now offering more spots and expanding Spot Saver hours to 10 p.m. AAA says the majority of Thanksgiving travelers will be on the road. And as gas prices are starting to go down nationwide and in Washington, expect crowded roadways.
When we see more cars on the road, we see also more collisions.
Washington State Patrol says it's going to have as many troopers on the roads as possible, and that people rushing to their destinations often cause collisions.
Plan ahead, that they're aware of the driving and the weather conditions from their starting point to their destination, and then that they can plan accordingly.
But no matter how you travel, it's just about getting there.
My sister's here from Colorado and my grandparents are coming up from California, so we're all spread around, but we're coming all back home for the holidays.
And airport officials have been warning about this kind of traffic. They've been telling people to use rideshare or take public transportation if you can. Now, the next busiest travel day after Wednesday is Saturday. And the TSA is bringing in more staff next week to help with the influx of people coming through the airport. Airport officials, again, reminding people to get there early, especially if you're traveling in the morning, because 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. are the busiest times. For now, live at SeaTac International Airport, Julie Calhoun, King 5 News.
Take a live look now over SeaTac Airport as we close in on a very busy holiday travel season. Right now, travel here is running smoothly with only one cancellation, about 100 delays. Travelers going through SeaTac are being told, though, to prepare for the crowds and the construction. King 5's Connor Board joining us from the airport live tonight with the latest there. Connor.
There are several construction projects underway here at the airport, including behind me here in the ticketing area. That's why airport leaders are telling people to come with extra time and extra patience this holiday. This is SeaTac Airport on a normal Thursday afternoon, a week before they expect a possible record-breaking number of Thanksgiving travelers.
However early you're thinking about coming, come an hour earlier.
Joanna Bailey flies through SeaTac 3 to 4 times a month and has seen the airport's challenges.
You always got to prepare for long wait times, whether you're dropping off the rental car, getting over here, whether you're getting in line, to do the pre-screening, just getting through the pre-screening.
The airport is hoping to alleviate some of those challenges by creating a new security line and ticketing area, but for now, that means construction.
Some of the spaces that you're going to see are a lot more crowded than what they were before because we've got construction barriers up and they're a lot more narrower, especially in the north end where our Alaska customers are in the main terminal.
Airport spokesperson Perry Cooper says it will be cramped as they are expecting 1.5 million people between today and November 27th. That's an 11% increase in travelers this Thanksgiving holiday when compared to last year.
We're getting back to those record levels once again. At the end of the year, we're expecting to be right around 2019 levels.
In the past, like in In this photo from last September, lines for ticketing stretched into the garage. And last Christmas, many people's baggage didn't get to their flights as luggage overwhelmed conveyor belts.
But we think we've gotten over those humps, the challenges that we had over last year. Get those solved.
Cooper says although construction can be frustrating for people now, it will pay off in the future, something travelers look forward to.
You know, you always got to go through the tough pinch points before things actually get better.
The peak travel days for Thanksgiving here at the airport will be the Wednesday, Thursday, and Monday surrounding the holiday, and the busiest time of day is in the mornings, Joyce.
Well, Connor, when do they expect this construction to be done?
For this specific project in the ticketing and baggage areas, the completion date is fall of next year. But this is all part of a $5 billion upgrade project that will take about 5 years to complete. Back to you, Joyce.
Connor Board at SeaTac.
Well, today is one of the busiest travel days of the year, and the Spokane Airport saw plenty of holiday travelers. Our Kyle Simchuk checked out to see just how bad the lines were in this story, new at 11 tonight.
While turkeys were still thawing, tired travelers waddled through the security line early this morning at the Spokane Airport.
Here's my message to everybody. Get the TSA pre-check because I'm going to get it next time.
Mornings are usually the busiest time to fly out of GEG, especially on the day before Thanksgiving.
We've been in this line for just about 23 minutes so far.
Later this evening, no lines at all. Travelers who left later in the day skipped most of the crowds.
When we came from Salt Lake and it was empty, we walked right up security. It was crazy. We got there like 3 hours early just to sit there for 2.5 hours.
Oh gosh, there was nobody out. It was amazing.
No lines at all.
Lucy Sharapata says even the baby on the plane next to her didn't make a fuss.
I don't want kids, but he made me debate my decision.
There were hugs and kisses outside the airport. Thanksgiving travelers excited to see friends and loved ones.
I'm here to visit my son.
My family.
My sister and her fiance live here.
That guy right there.
This woman flew in from Orlando to see her boyfriend, who she hasn't seen in, well, forever.
This is the first time.
With the flying and driving out of the way, these travelers can look forward to the food and family this holiday.
Stuffing, food, Thanksgiving, kind of just get away for a little bit, kind of hang out with the family, see the dogs.
And if you're flying home after Thanksgiving, the TSA expects Sunday to be the busiest. The airport recommends arriving about 90 minutes before your flight. Reporting from the Spokane Airport tonight, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Jeremy, thank you so much. A lot to keep track of there. In the meantime, over the weekend, we've also been keeping track of the airports across the country as they faced countless delays and cancellations because of that winter weather that rolled on through. Right now, you're seeing the view from SeaTac and LAX. Even in sunny California, flight departures were impacted because of winter weather at other airports across the country. Spokane's airport also had its share of cancellations, delays, and long lines. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is there tonight and has been speaking with passengers throughout the day. And as we go to her right now, how are things looking at this moment, Shannon?
Well, Cody, these drop-off lines outside the Spokane airport have been full all day, and the lines inside, as you'll see in just a minute, were also packed. It has been a busy day of travel here, and the line for Southwest actually stretched all the way to the end of the concourse, nearly to the baggage claim.
Most of the small airports that we've flown through have gone pretty rapidly, and we're used to using the kiosks where you can kind of just check in, and so I'm not sure. It looks like everything happens at the window, so it's a little slower than we expected.
Now, at last check, FlightAware is showing that cancellations and delays at the Spokane airport are about the same as they were yesterday. I think at last check, the cancellations for the day were more than 30. Live at the Spokane airport, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Shannon, thank you so much.
We do have some breaking news this morning. The winter weather is grounding planes all across the Northwest. Right now, dozens of arrivals and departures are canceled or delayed at the Spokane airport due to the weather. So KREM 2's Tim Pham is actually live at the airport right now as travelers have to deal with these flights. And Tim, I can just imagine how frustrating this is, especially just days before the big holiday.
Yeah, you got to feel for these people, Channing. It is very frustrating thinking that, you're going to be there for Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, and then you have to deal with something like this. So it is frustrating. But I actually have just learned that 7 flights have been diverted to the Spokane airport today alone. So those are flights that had plans to go to either Seattle or Portland, but had to stop in Spokane because of what's happening over on the west side of the state with the icy conditions. So take a look right now. I'm going to show you of what's happening. We're in front of the Alaska Airlines counter right now, where you can see long lines zigzagging across the terminal right now. This is, and if you've been to the Spokane airport, this is abnormal. It's normally in and out. Something that I showed in our last hit was that the TSA check line is open, but yet no one is in line, which is kind of a weird sight to see. But some of these folks have been waiting here for hours, since 5 o'clock this morning, trying to rebook. I'm told that when they called into the Alaska customer service line, that they were told the wait would be 8 hours just to talk to someone on the phone. So they feel like their shot is better to be here at the airport to talk to an agent. But right now it's kind of still up in the air to find out what's going to happen when more runways reopen at SeaTac, because right now only one roadway is open, the tarmac, is open. So we'll keep you updated here on KREM 2, a live update coming up on KREM 2 News at noon. Channing?
Well, taking one final look at weather here, of course, the west side dealing with some of that freezing rain. That freezing rain for us will come up starting tomorrow, and then your Christmas looks like sleet and warmer temperatures.
And it is the day after Christmas, but the holiday travel headaches are not letting up across the nation. Take a look at some of the scenes around the nation. Severe winter weather led to thousands more cancellations nationwide, and Spokane Airport wasn't spared from the fallout of mass delays and cancellations as long lines and packed terminals stretched into yet another day. Flyers with canceled flights still not able to make it to their destination, and for many people that meant not making it home for Christmas this year. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is joining us now live from the airport tonight. And Shannon, you've been tracking this story since last week. What are the conditions at the airport like tonight?
Well, Cody, it is not good. At this point, I cannot even see the end of this line behind me, and this is just for Southwest. People have been waiting here for an hour plus. Again, long waits, long lines on this, one of the busiest travel days of the year. The Spokane International Airport was a bustle of goodbyes outside and in.
Oh, we were kind of shocked.
Shocked was the feeling greeting most passengers on the busy post-Christmas travel day.
You could see, the airlines and all the staff are working so hard to make everybody happy.
Many in this Southwest line waited upwards of an hour.
Well, we haven't been in line that long, probably 5-10 minutes or something, but it looks like we got about an hour before we get to the front.
I don't really like the long lines, and my flights, I don't know if my flight's officially canceled, but we're just trying to figure that out.
FlightAware reported 18 flight cancellations by mid-Monday, more than the day before. Bobette Moss had her Christmas Day plane ride grounded.
That was about 2.5 hours in line yesterday, and then today was shorter, went faster.
Staff are still trying to rebook those who couldn't fly out over the weekend.
So I got in line this morning just before 10 a.m. and just got, now it's, I think around 12, yeah, and we just got a ticket for the 29th.
Some passengers still walked away without a ticket today, telling KREM 2 if it wasn't the weather, trouble getting flight crews together canceled their plans.
I figured if it took all day, then I'd be here all day.
And we are starting to see more of those delays and cancellations. FlightAware reports that as of 5 o'clock tonight, there have been 20 cancellations at Spokane and 33 delayed flights. At the Spokane Airport, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back to Up with KREM. There are a lot of headlines today, so here are 3 stories we're following for you this morning. Breaking this morning, the winter weather is grounding flights all over the Northwest. This is a live look right now at Spokane International Airport, and you can see just how crowded it is as people are trying to change their flight plans or get on another plane today. We do have a crew that is on their way to the airport right now to gather more information for us as departures are canceled and delayed, several of them due to the weather. So in the last hour, SeaTac has announced they're reopening one of their runways. Earlier this morning, all of them were closed due to icy conditions, and the Portland International Airport also has a majority of their flights canceled delayed today as well.
And KREM 2 News has been reporting on winter travel headaches that started first thing this morning. Let's go now to KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy. She's joining us live at the Spokane Airport tonight with more on how this weather is impacting people just trying to get to places for the holidays. And how is it right now, Shannon?
Well, Cody, I have been here since about 9:30 this morning, and you can see behind me at the Southwest United ticket gates a little bit more active here, and I think we did just have a plane arrive. I felt kind of the breeze of cold coming off of the people that walked by me who just arrived at the Spokane International Airport. But earlier this morning, if you were keeping up with us, these lines were jam-packed with people who then found out their flights were grounded. The Arrivals and Departures Board at Spokane International was not a welcome sight to many hopeful holiday travelers Friday.
I've heard everything was really bad, snow out of Seattle and Portland and everything else.
Yeah, I've been here for 9 hours, waiting.
Winter storms grounded 28 flights into or out of Spokane this morning. 30 more were delayed. Some had longer waits than others.
We've been stuck here since yesterday. There are too much hours.
So many hours of waiting after the Gomez family had 2 days of travel from Panama. Their flight from Florida was diverted to Spokane.
Today I think it will not have another flight because depends of the weather. If we might have the chance, we had the chance and we take it and we go to Seattle.
They waited for an aunt to drive from Seattle. Others waited for alternate flights. And just getting to Spokane was an issue too.
Got there, our plane was canceled, had to turn in our car, had to rent another car. We're online on the phone with the airlines forever, and they finally rerouted us.
Rerouted the Warren family from Missoula to Spokane to catch the first of many flights home.
In Spokane to Phoenix, Phoenix to Los Angeles, then Los Angeles to Orlando, arriving sometime tomorrow.
Getting people where they're going for Christmas booked up Alaska Airlines flights for 2 days.
There's no flights available until the 26th is what I was told.
And for some, canceled flights mean canceled plans and making the best of this wintry gift.
So it's going to be a cold Christmas this year, but that's okay.
Now, Cody, I just snuck a peek at the departures board. It is almost completely yellow and red with cancellations and delays, and that is across the board. Flights to Sacramento, Salt Lake City, all of those just being shut down tonight. Live at the Spokane International Airport, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News. With a full slate of flights in and out here at the Spokane International Airport, it actually wasn't as busy as you might expect just a couple days out from Thanksgiving, but that was welcome news to a lot of travelers here. It's a happy holiday for many at Spokane International Airport, mainly because it's just not that crowded. Olivia and Aiden Cowley showed up early for their Vegas-bound flight, expecting a rush.
Shuttle picked us up quick, and no one's here. I'm sure we'll get through security quick. So far it's been pretty chill, more chill than expected.
Even at a much larger airport like Denver, where Dennis Bickle departed, it wasn't the holiday hurry you'd expect.
I showed up an extra hour early this morning because I was anticipating problems, right? And everything went so smooth.
Tuesday and Wednesday are expected to be some of the busiest travel days for the Thanksgiving holiday. Spokane International Airport estimates 73,000 passengers will go through TSA security screening this week. Nationwide, TSA estimates 2.6 million travelers will be screened Tuesday, slightly more on Wednesday.
So I don't know if, the economy, people are just, saving their money or driving and staying home or whatever, but so far it's been a really easy trip.
Maybe you're not hitting the skyways, but the highways instead. Take a look at I-90's Snoqualmie Pass area, where westbound travelers will see a little congestion starting Wednesday around 10 a.m. and peaking mid-afternoon. If your family's coming from west to east, Wednesday is going to get crowded quick. But with things off to a good start.
Yeah, hopefully we're missing the crazy days. That was our plan.
And you don't get a lot of good experiences flying anymore, right? Everything's a hassle.
It leaves a lot to be thankful for. Don't forget about your return trip. Actually, Sunday is expected to be the busiest day of the week. TSA anticipates that nationwide about 2.9 million people will be making their flights home. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Our big story at this noon hour: holiday travel at airports across the country are coming to a standstill as severe weather grounds planes. From SeaTac to Spokane, long lines are forming as people try to get rebooked to get to their destination in time for the holidays. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on the KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Channing Curtis in for Laura Papetti. Now, our crews have been at the Spokane International Airport for the last 6 hours. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy joining us live right now from the Alaska terminal, where the majority of flights have been canceled or delayed. So, Shannon, have you heard any update on if passengers are able to get rebooked at this time?
Well, Channing, I have been here for the last 2 hours plus, and I can tell you that the lines here have gotten much shorter in that time. So we are seeing people get out somehow. And if you watched us up with KREM this morning, you saw just how long those lines and those waits were. Now, let's give you a look at the scene earlier this morning with just how bad it was. It was packed at the ticket counters as people were looking to rebook those flights. All flights to and from Seattle have been either delayed or just completely canceled. That's what stalled the holiday plans of the Gomez family, who've traveled 2 days from Panama. Their flight from Florida landed in Spokane instead.
We've been stuck here since yesterday. There are too much hours because we're stuck here by some weather problems. We're stuck here for the problems of weathers.
Now, with all those grounded flights, this was the scene at the TSA screening area. Not a single person going through there. Agents were standing by waiting for those flights to resume, which is, of course, a rare sight this time of year. And I'm standing by, I can still see the Gomez family. They are staying here at the Spokane airport waiting for a family member from Seattle to drive to pick them up. Live at the Spokane airport, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Now be sure to count on us to let you know when flights resume on the KREM 2 News or on our website, krem.com.
KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is joining us now live at the Spokane airport tonight. And Shannon, this is your second day at the airport. What are you seeing and hearing from travelers tonight?
It has been another holiday headache for travelers here at the Spokane International Airport. FlightAware reports that 41 flights here were canceled Friday. So we're seeing some of those stranded travelers today trying to catch anything they can. More long lines at Spokane's airport on Christmas Eve as travelers looked ahead to hopefully taking off after a day of cancellations.
So we landed here yesterday around 4 a.m. So we have been stuck for more than a day, more than 24 hours.
Kenny Yez, Chicago flight didn't make it to Seattle.
I think it's not just us, all of the flights to Seattle got canceled.
SeaTac shut down for much of the day Friday, grounding more than 700 flights. Alaska Airlines ticket agents say alternate flights are booked for the next day or so as weary passengers do what they can to make it where they're going. Others trying to get to Spokane, like Michelle Perino,
it has been exhausting.
Face the same holiday headache. She flew into Seattle Thursday night and was stuck after 2 canceled flights trying to get home to her father.
Might be one of the last Christmases I have with him. So it's just been so stressful and so exhausting.
By Saturday afternoon, 20 flights were grounded in Spokane, leaving some feeling deja vu.
And we waited for like 12 hours, but then it still got canceled.
As for many, the wait continues.
Yeah, and I still don't know where my baggage is.
FlightAware reports that as of 5 p.m. tonight, 23 flights here at Spokane have been canceled. At the Spokane airport, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.